everyone, welcome to Inbound After Hours Episode 2. Today we'll be talking about social media ads. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Andrew, Ricky and Paul. Thanks guys, thanks for joining.
Alright.
How is everyone?
Very good, thank you.
All good, yeah. Anything? A bank holiday, yeah. We've got 3 days off, we're all pretty happy. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so social media ads, let's go straight into it because we want to get home, don't we? So Ricky, do you want to start us off? What's going off in 2017 with social media ads?
Well, I think it's a place where the best value is at the market at the moment for ads, and it's still quite amazing to me how many people aren't using it. I went to a meeting yesterday, we sat for an hour and a half talking about ads. No one mentioned social media ads. It's insane. And then when I raised it and showed them some of the stats about how they perform versus standard ads on something like AdWords, I still think that people need convincing that this is a real thing that can get the money, that can drive leads, that can drive value. I think they still see it as a gimmick.
It's strange when you look at how much the platforms push them as well. They make it seem so easy. That's one thing I wanted to mention at some point was they make it seem like, reach everyone on Facebook for £1 a day.
Yeah.
Surely I thought a lot of businesses would be like, definitely getting in on that.
Yeah.
I think it's still tinged with the same attitude to social media. I think a lot of businesses still aren't. As much as everyone knows you need to do it, and there is still that little bit of stigma from when social media was a personal just thing that you put pictures of your cat on.
Yeah.
And it's just more and more that the free bits that can actually bring you business, not just the paid.
Yeah.
And now we use the paid. It's a harder sell because it costs, but it's absolutely essential to what we do now. And it's only getting more and more because it's where people spend the time.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I know the client you're talking about, Ricky, because I see the stats you put together through our clients and our data. It'd be good to put that in the show notes as well. It just shows people how cheap social media ads are compared to Google AdWords.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy when you actually think about it. If you think where most people's attention is today, it's on social media. And if you think you can buy a click on Facebook for less than £1, and that also happens to be the most popular channel in the world, it's backwards. Compare that to something like AdWords, where the price is rising and rising, and it's not that competitive for a lot of people anymore.
I think I from the clients like that I work on as well, I'm almost AdWords is definitely secondary for me now. For some ones that have been doing it for a long time, it works and that's good. But for like new clients coming on, especially with inbound content, or just general service pages and stuff, I really lean towards social to get cheap data in quickly and sales and contacts and all that sort of it. And then once you've proven which offer works on social, you can invest on AdWords for the consistent whatever it is. You can get from that. But it's definitely a flip for me. Yeah. Once you know what works, I think content does work better on social than AdWords would. I'm coming from a content marketing sort of area, but AdWords is very close to second place now. The last couple of years, it's really switched over.
Okay, that's good. I mean, that leads on to my next question, Andrew. What else are we doing? What's working for us? What we can share with the viewers now? Just some tips and tricks or things what we've proven.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously we're an inbound marketing agency, so we focus on content and premium content offers and downloads. So the sort of things that we'd put out on social media, for example, would be a checklist or something that's quite easy to digest. Social media, whilst everyone's on there, it's still a quick fix for people. They're in and out quickly, so we try not to push anything too big to them.
I think that's a mistake a lot of people make, still pushing the ebook as the only thing to download.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with ebooks at all, and we still use them to good effect. But I think on something like social media, where your attention's short, you want instant gratification from your content. I think a lot of ebooks, I do myself all the time, I download them, they go on my desktop, if at best I'll skim them. And at worst I never look at them, so you've never got the gratification from the brand you downloaded from. Whereas I think things that work well, like you say, a checklist, cheat sheets, things you can download and actually action as soon as you've downloaded it.
And what about an idea of just made me think when people are on social media, and we know they've got a short attention span. It's something we mentioned in the first podcast. People scrolling through, and you miss a lot. But when people are at home, if you think someone's flicking around on the phone for ages, you're actually quite time rich for once. So if you do fall down that rabbit warren, you're going to invest in it. So if you can get their attention, they're going to be in it for the long run, I think.
Definitely, yeah. I think just a little tip that we've used, and it's a quick win. Now we're talking about checklists. You might have wrote a 20, 30 page ebook and thinking, oh bloody hell, we've put all this work into this great thing, like the ultimate guide to whatever you do. Take that ebook and make it into a checklist. Take the content, just take your subheadings and put some like assigned dates next to it. Put it in a spreadsheet, export as PDF, and just try and clone that campaign as a checklist and just see how that works.
Or even break it down into 10 chapter ebooks, and so they're not even books, the 2 sides or whatever, or the 1 pages, and much more digestible. They work really well. And just to carry on from the question you asked about what's working well for us, so that's the content side and what we know works from an ideas base. But in terms of actual features, we've started to test a lot of the new in-mail and messenger features. So Facebook Messenger ads have just launched, I think, in January this year. We started using those and they're awesome. And also LinkedIn in-mail ads. So that is literally an inbox message from an individual, not from a company, as opposed to your normal sponsored content, which would come from Digital 22. This would come direct from me. It's plain text with a link. And we've seen click-through rates on those as high as 60%, which is huge. It's much higher than we'd expect. Facebook's even better.
Email.
I think the sort of average sort of Facebook open rates on Messenger are like 95% plus.
I think that's just
because you're not used to getting.
I would expect if I see something pop up on Messenger or in the LinkedIn email, I'm expecting that to be a real person and a real thing, and it is, because it's been sent from an individual's account. So I think we're in that sweet spot of early days, like jump in and really have a go at that. And I think that's as simple as when you're setting up your Facebook ad. If you've set one up before, it's an option. Just go on Messenger ads and just work your way through, and it's pretty intuitive.
I think LinkedIn mail's a little bit more tainted because I'm used to getting sales emails through LinkedIn, so
that aren't ads.
They're just people spamming me anyway. I kind of have my defence on a little bit on LinkedIn Messenger anyway. But Facebook Messengers, I've still not to this day had an ad come to my Facebook Messenger personally. I don't know if you guys have.
No.
So when one comes through, I'll be guaranteed I'll open it. So if anyone wants to add me, there you go. But no, that's why those open rates are insane. And again, from a cost point of view, just such good value. I can't overestimate how good value Facebook is right now from an ads perspective.
I think people get a bit like misguided when they say, like, I've got some budget for paid, and we hear it all the time. They're determined to spend it on AdWords. They want to spend it on PPC, and to most people PPC means Google AdWords, and we've now shifted, and PPC does mean that, but it also contains social media. And I think people just want to at least spend X on AdWords and see what happens, whereas we're saying, well, leave that for what, put it all onto social, find out what works at a cheap cost, as Ricky's mentioned, and then once you've got a winner, you can afford to spend the higher cost per click on AdWords, the more robust platform.
Has anyone seen up-to-date stats on how many people ignore ads on Google?
Like what the click-through rates are?
I've not seen one for a while.
It's still very high. I mean, I think our average client click-through rate from ads will, if you put them all together, will be in the 4 or 5%.
Yeah, I was going to say about 5%.
Yeah, so that is better than social because of the type of medium you're digesting, but it is reduced.
Oh, sorry, I mean, purposely not clicking on an ad, knowing it's an ad and saying, I'm not clicking it because it's an ad.
I guess that's the only data you can really test it on. I mean, AdWords click-through rates, back in the day, again, when AdWords was the thing, the new thing people were testing, those click-through rates were high because you're right at the top of the page, people just clicked them, didn't expect to see an ad there, like we're talking about with Facebook Messenger, and you could get 30-40% plus click-through rates from.
That's where we're at with Facebook, isn't it?
That's exactly right.
That's what everyone's saying now. That is that golden era now we're in of social ads, but before people get wise to them, as they have with AdWords.
Throw some stats at us. This is all good. I'm sure the listeners want to hear some stats, some average stats with our data. So the average cost per lead for.
I mean, your cost per lead on something like LinkedIn or Facebook's going to be comfortably 6 times cheaper than AdWords. But you've got to think about to give balance to that, in fairness to AdWords, what sort of leads you get from each. So most social media ads were targeting people in awareness or consideration phases. They're downloading a piece of content. Most people don't AdWords ebooks and stuff.
Yeah.
The AdWords decision-based content. So actually it costs 5 or 6 times more, but you're getting someone
Like a demo
you're getting so much later in the funnel. It'd be interesting to do an analysis of, okay, you got 6-7 times more leads through social. How many of those get to the demo stage? Is it still cheaper by then?
I think I would, from an inbound perspective, I'd rather have those 6 or 7 to sort of analyse and work with a workflow or whatever it is, rather than just sit and wait, hopefully get that one demo at the end of the month. I might not get it, but I've got no data then. At least you can improve with social and see where they dropped out and just work with that.
It's saturation points as well. Like we all know, because we're an inbound agency, about the buyer's journey, but at any one time there's only like 3% of people ready today to buy something you're selling on your website. That's why average conversion rates of sites are around that percentage or lower. Targeting the other 97% of people who are in awareness and consideration, you do that on social media. So a lot of clients that we've had, they've got as much as they can out of SEO, they've got as much as they can out of PPC or traditional SEO and PPC, filled the bottom of the funnel, and now they're looking to keep selling more. How do we do that? You go further back in the buyer's journey, and that's where social ads come in.
And I think it's worth mentioning that they don't have to coexist separately. They're not mutually exclusive.
No,
so
100% that, yeah.
It's a great idea to use social media for that awareness stage content, build up your database, even if it's just traffic to your landing page, and then use that traffic data and retarget it on AdWords at a later stage to those decision phase offers, and use them in conjunction and get the most out of both platforms. And it makes your AdWords data better, so you're only showing your ads to people that have actually come in on social at a cheaper rate, and then you know that you're really only spending your money on the people that are interested.
Right, now I'm going to throw a curveball now, guys. So when don't they work?
Getting ready for the
Yeah, when don't they work? Yeah.
I mean, one warning I'd probably have is the way that people are going. So the new ad styles with the direct messaging, so Facebook Messenger, I'm sure Snapchat, you can do direct messaging in. Instagram won't be far behind. LinkedIn, you can do in-mail. They're actually changing the pricing model on these away from pay-per-click. So you're actually paying per view or per send. So you're basically buying data lists. So that could be a danger to people, that you're relying again on paid, you're renting your list, because if you stop paying, it's gone. I think it's still important to build those lists up organically, and something we've been testing with in the last week or so is trying to build up a Facebook Messenger list, getting people to opt into our Facebook Messenger so we can send them organic messages for free, which I think is quite important. It's a bit like the SEO versus PPC argument. You're going to get instant, quicker results from Facebook Messenger ads. Over the long term, if you build your own organic opt-in Facebook Messenger list, it's going to be a lot cheaper. So I'd say that's going to be one negative to come, that if people aren't doing that, they could fall in the trap of continually needing to pay for ads on every platform, everywhere, just to be seen.
Okay, then we don't want to promote any third-party software companies. The last thing we want to do on this podcast, but the software we do use is HubSpot. And I know this is a new add-on feature there for social media. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah.
Do you want to? Yeah, we could go for it.
No, so obviously huge advocates of HubSpot here. Other platforms are available.
They're not.
No, they're rubbish. So HubSpot's ads add-on that allows you to create ads and report on ads directly inside HubSpot. I think for in-house people it's going to be good, because when you get into the interfaces of Facebook ads, in particular, I think that's the most complex. There's a lot of options. It can be a little bit overwhelming. So what third-party softwares like HubSpot ads and other ones do is just allow you to deploy ads on social networks quickly and across multi-platform.
Like posting, like a normal
Yeah,
post.
like you would
Limited,
schedule
but
them. A bit, I guess they'll get like Hootsuite at one point, where you can put your message on and post it across the various platforms.
Yeah.
HubSpot add-on isn't there yet, but it makes it a lot simpler.
We've trialled it and run through a few ads through it. It is great for tracking ROI, and obviously HubSpot's great at collecting contact data, and once they've started doing things on your site, you can tie it back to the ad very quickly. You can do it without the add-on. It's a bit more, it takes a bit more setup, but we've just found from an agency side, we're trying to test a lot of things and push the boundaries really. So it's a little bit limited for us. Not as many options available in the app, which it's not a bad thing, because you could argue that keeping it simple is often the best way to get the best results. But
that's their shtick as well, isn't it? HubSpot,
really. I think that works. It plays into their favour with a new tool. Keep it simple. It works for them. But I think, especially from our guys that do the paid ads, coming from an AdWords background with all the tools in the world and all the analysis, jumping into HubSpot, it's like, well, where's my stuff? Where's
it's
like,
audience?
You literally type your message, add your picture, like you would do a blog.
Connect it to a landing page
then, like,
and
hit live. I've done my ad sort of thing, which is absolutely brilliant for most HubSpot users and most marketers in-house. And would definitely advise giving it a go. Just from an agency perspective, we need to try and do the other bits as well. So.
What's the cost of that monthly?
Is it $70 a month? So £50 a month or so. It's not expensive. I think it's worth it for the analysis. I like the analysis tool for us. Where most other analytics platforms fall down, like Google Analytics or the individual networks ads platforms, is it'll tell you numbers of conversions, which is great, but obviously having something like HubSpot and the add-on, you'll actually be able to click that number and see who the people are, and then you'll know what happened. You can ask a salesperson what happened with John so-and-so, and it takes your data from numbers to people, which we find really useful.
And the full journey.
Yeah, you can track the full journey, exactly.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you mentioned some other channels there. We've got some new ones out there, haven't we? We've got Snapchat, Instagram's still quite new.
We saw the ad, didn't we? We stumbled across a good ad for an ebook, and it had on the Instagram post a link to download there and then straight to your post. That's a cool way to get on Instagram, because you don't see that. I've seen it once about a week and a half ago. I've not seen it since. I've not seen it before. So that's a nice ad feature on Instagram.
So if you're doing a regular Instagram post, you got your picture, you got your text, you can't actually hyperlink, can you? Like through to a blog or through to an ebook, and the only way to do that's ads.
Yeah, is to pay.
Yeah, which is obviously
they have the blue CTA sort of button thing.
Yeah.
Quite like those, I think.
It's worked on me. I've seen some local ads actually on Instagram for like Clitheroe. I can't remember what it was, but it stopped me scrolling, and I did have a good old look at it. Maybe because I'm a marketer and I was quite interested in it, but it did stand out. It worked quite well.
I think if you stick to sort of the basic rules that we abide by for ads, in terms of making sure it's going to a relevant person, the product you're trying to sell, they're actually going to be semi-interested in.
If you've got a particularly visual product, maybe food or retail, fashion, it's obviously great for that.
I think that's a big step though on Instagram, because it's, check out this, blah blah blah, here's a cool picture of it, links in the bio. Well, I'm not going to go to your profile, to your bio, to another app, to download it, to then open it another one. But that button there, that's
straight through.
It makes everyone else is all them steps away, and you're just bosh.
Straight in,
Have we done much testing on Snapchat yet? Everyone, Gary Vee, Jason Swank, they're all shouting about Snapchat.
I can't use Snapchat.
I know we're not another curveball.
We're not the demographic, are we, for Snapchat? It is interesting. We
should be.
We should be, and we do use it.
Should be using it.
I think the interesting thing with any social network like that is, one day Facebook was that young trendy kids app, and then Twitter was that young trendy kids app, and then Instagram was, and slowly as the early adopters move through that phase, other people will do it, and I think there's every sign that Snapchat will move into that phase, and one day your man will be on Snapchat just like they are on Facebook. I think that day will come. So I think if you can, I know we're talking about paid, but from an organic perspective, if you can build your audience early, I think that will work.
I think that's key on Snapchat as well.
It is.
Like,
you've
got to have strong organic tactics, content. 100%. Otherwise, you're just not going to get any contact.
As far as I'm aware, there's no scroll. It's just you've
no
got
feed.
Your friends list. You just they've got the updates, and you're just jumping into people that you actually want to hear from. So it's not. You don't have the opportunity of just like appearing in front as much. You've got organically, you have to build it first and get them to follow you.
You got to choose to open the content as well, haven't you? Really,
you do. Or you add them and it goes straight into their inbox, if you like, and bypass it all, which is obviously appealing.
Okay.
I think. Look, if you get your phone open on if you're on iOS or whatever, you can go on the chart and look at the top downloaded apps. Snapchat's ahead of Twitter now. Snapchat's ahead of Instagram now. Snapchat's ahead of Facebook now. It's a real thing. It's building, and I think people need to get on board with it. And that's an interesting thing for people to go and do as like a monthly thing. Just what are people downloading? Where is people's attention these days? I think that for me makes quite interesting reading, and it's almost just like a league or a football chart of what social media's got your most attention.
So that's homework for us then. It
is. I mean, we've started. Yeah, we've got a Snapchat account. We do it, but it is a challenge because it's a completely different interface.
The interface is still tricky for me. I don't mind admitting it. We've said it, haven't we?
There's no profile. There's no feed. It's
but just the logic sometimes where you swipe. I don't know where I am. I don't know how to get back to where I was. That's why I just close it.
It's bizarre. Like I do our Snapchat account, and I can get by, for want of a better way. But I'll swipe on mine, and I'll be somewhere, and I'm like, I've never seen a screen before in my life.
Seen those dog filters, Ricky?
Accident.
Face swaps in the office. No, we haven't got that far yet. Definitely.
Anything else? Any other tips, hints, tricks? Anything we can help the viewers with?
Yeah, I wanted to not say this, and I'm not going to say it by saying it, but it's like the obvious thing about we've been told for the past couple of years, get into it, do more of it, do Facebook, don't be shy, do things like this. We've not even touched on video in ads in Facebook. That's a whole other bag, but just have a go. If you've got inbound and you're blogging, if you've got a good blog, share it. If it's an audience that you think is relevant, put a bit of, a small budget in and just see what happens. Once you're in there, once you've done your first campaign and created an audience, which might take a little while, you can clone and duplicate that, and you get the ball rolling then, and you can just switch out your creative, and you're on there, and you just know, it's much quicker then. So I would just say, if you've not done it, have a go in a very small way, and don't worry too much about the results, just to get into it. And if you are doing it, obviously have a go at Facebook Messenger ads, look at LinkedIn email, import your HubSpot database, retarget, and do all that sort of good stuff, and use that on AdWords as well. What budget should we throw at that, Andrew? The viewers watching, £100, £1,000? Which platform?
Maybe you've got marketing managers who'd be probably most likely person to be listening to this. When you've got spare budget, or when you're going to spend it on another catalogue run that you're not going to get your money back, or you're buying another data list to give to your sales team to call, or you're doing these sort of things that you just know don't work, but you do them because your boss likes them or whatever.
Or you've always done them.
Or you've always done them. It's a magazine or a billboard ad.
Just say don't send your next leaflet.
And just stick that budget on that. It's hard for us to say what budget to spend because it ranges from hundreds of pounds to millions, but try and take off something in your heart's not working and stick it on. Like I say, the best performing medium at the moment, and it's a no-brainer for most people.
Give it a go, and it's working for us. And we could kick ourselves. We didn't do it sooner.
Exactly, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, it is a good sign. So, okay, anything else? Anything else we missed?
I don't think so.
No, I think there's plenty for the guys to think about.
Well, thank you, and just want to thank everyone for the questions from the last session. Thanks for that. Thanks for your comments and feedback. We tried to improve. We've got a different backdrop today.
And a jazz festival downstairs.
And a jazz festival downstairs.
Always helps with recording and audio.
Hence we're here because of the noise. So thanks for joining us again. What have we got next week?
I'm not sure next week. No? I think it's open for the viewers to send in and let us know what they'd like us to talk about.
I'd like to talk about video though. It's what we're doing now, the podcast and the other video work.
Let's do that.
Sounds good.
Agreed.
Good. Okay. We'll talk about that then. Videos. Any other questions? Please put in the comment box. Any feedback? It really helps us.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Please share this episode. And that's it. Thank you guys.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Cheers. Take care. Happy Bank Holiday. Bye bye.